Stronger together. 2 words side by side that 6 years ago, I never would have imagined that I'd be pronouncing together with such conviction and certainty. I grew up competing in individual sports, which meant, as a gymnast, it was all on me. For the next 3 years, I competed across Canada in trampoline, and then again, it was my success and my failure. Naturally, I grew up with this sense of pride that I could rely on myself to get a good job done. How many of you can relate to that feeling of independence that I don't need to rely on anyone other than myself? At 16, I found out that I was wrong. And it was those mistakes that helped shape my philosophy about life today. It was those mistakes that have made me today make it my mission to ensure that every man, woman, and child that suffer from mental illness, anxiety, feelings of suicide and depression know that they never need to go through what they're going through alone ever again. Because for me, support and accountability saved my life. And I'm going to share the 2 things that accountability did to impact me and change me. And the first was that accountability helped me get started. And I know there's a lot of achievers in this room, but I'm curious how many of you are willing to admit that sometimes I feel a little bit lazy. Okay, we got a few procrastinators in here. You got that work deadline Friday, and you're waiting for Thursday night to get started. I know how you feel. I feel the same way. But I no longer let my feelings hold me back anymore. When I think of accountability, I think of the law of inertia. Anyone remember grade 11 physics? Very few, okay, a couple. Well, here's a recap. The law of inertia states that an object at rest tends to stay at rest unless, yes, thank you, acted upon by an outside force. For me, yeah, round of applause. He's getting gaps over there and everything. Love it. For me, accountability was that outside force. Lao Tzu said that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with 1 step. And accountability has helped me take that first step. If it wasn't for accountability, I never would have started my blog. For 2 years, I said to myself that I'm going to write down all the things that helped me overcome my depression. For 2 years, nothing happened. And then I teamed up with my buddy Ryan, and now I'm 30 blogs deep. None of the videos I promised myself would have happened either. But again, Ryan started holding me accountable for my word. And because of him, I was able to take that first step. Hell, I wouldn't be in this room if it wasn't for his belief in me and his belief in my ability to make an impact. And so I started to think, why is it that we need so much support? Why couldn't I just do it myself? And it turns out for me, and maybe you feel the same way, there's so many reasons that hold me back. Maybe you can relate to some of these. I put all my reasons into 3 different buckets. The first was obligations. Family, friends, work, school, sports, all pulling at my time and attention. The second, and this one's the worst, is distractions. They're all over the place. Everyone's guilty. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, Netflix. I can go on and on and on. Who agrees with that? Yeah. And the last and the most important was me. What about me holding me back? What about you holding you back? Maybe you can relate to some of these thought patterns. I said to myself, what would they think of me? What if I embarrass myself? What if I fail? How many of you would agree that there's so many reasons that hold us back? With so many reasons, weighing us down. We need a compelling reason to take that first step. And for me, my bulletproof method of getting started and taking that first step has been finding someone that I can trust. Finding someone that I can be vulnerable with. And finding someone that won't accept my bullshit excuses. Yes. If you can do that, which has worked for me, you will have that compelling reason to take that first step, and you will get started on your goals and your dreams. The second thing, and the most important thing, is that accountability kept me going all the way to the finish. I don't care if you start 100 projects and you never finish. Or if you go to the gym for the first 2 weeks, but the next thing you know, you're sitting on your couch, eating Doritos, never to squat again. Or maybe you've had an experience like me, and it sounds like, based off of a lot of the stories tonight, a lot of you do. Everyone's going to experience their own version of what I experienced, but at 16 years old, no matter how many times I tried to stop smoking weed, I just couldn't stop. If you remember, at 16, with all my pride, I was making poor decision after poor decision after poor decision. I was skipping class, hanging out with the wrong guys, and I'm quitting all the things in my life that are giving me joy. I started to develop this disempowering self-talk. Like, you're not good enough. And you're not smart enough. And you're not attractive enough. Clearly, I was delusional. There I am. And I'm drowning in this pool of my own self-hope. And with everything that's going on and all these negative self-talk and all of this conversation I'm having with myself, I had this great idea. I said to myself, why don't I add drugs to the mix? What do you think that got me? The perfect recipe for depression and anxiety. The next thing I knew, I'm sitting in the doctor's office, and he says to me, you have clinical depression. And I spent the next 2 years of my life shrouded by this dark, heavy, relentless cloud of negativity. And I'm in the middle of this cloud. And based on everything I just said, what's the worst thing that I could have done? I tried to get through it alone. I almost didn't survive that. But fortunately, I had the courage to reach out for help. Fortunately, my family helped me turn my whole life around. If you remember, at the time, I was smoking weed. A lot of weed. And I said to myself, if I could only stop doing that, then that could be the thing that helps me snowball, part the clouds, and start to feel better about myself. So I made a decision. I said, I'm going to quit. And I quit. And I started. And I quit. And then I started. And over again, I would throw it out and buy it back again. And I started to feel worse about myself. And then I made the decision. And I said to myself, I can't do it alone. I'll never forget the day when I sit down with my dad. My throat's dry. My words are heavy. And I say, Dad, I need your help. And he looks at me. And he says, son, I know. And I'm here for you. We're stronger together. That was the day that turned my whole life around. That was the day when I knew that there was power in support and power in community. And that I didn't need to tackle my goals, my obstacles, my adversity, none of that alone. It was the day that I knew accountability had power, and it was the day that I knew that I would be okay. I hope that tonight my words leave a lasting impression. You've heard a lot of stories tonight, but the only thing that matters to me going forward, whether I want to start, whether I'm in the middle of a rut, and I've got challenges, and I've got adversity, I've got pain, and the clouds come back, and I need to get through that, and I need to get through to the end. I want everyone to remember that at the end of the day, we can get through it because we're stronger together.